All right, so today we're diving into the pretty raw, totally unfiltered life philosophy of this creator named Tomcat. His whole worldview was basically forged in frustration, and it all boils down to this one really defiant role. So yeah, let's get right into it. So yeah, Tomcat does not ease you in. He doesn't pull any punches. His whole philosophy is built on this one super blunt, kind of confrontational idea that life is just this constant battle against forces that are always trying to get one over on you. So you gotta ask, right? What in the world leads someone to a conclusion that stark? Well, this philosophy didn't just come out of nowhere, you know? It wasn't born from some academic theory. Nope. It was forged in the fire of one very specific, totally soul-crushing job. And that job? It was the catalyst for everything that came after.
So what was the big reward for all this labor he put in? 350 bucks. Now, look, maybe on its own that number doesn't sound that bad, but the real story here isn't just the dollar amount. It's how long it took him to actually earn it.
Yeah. 2 full weeks. That's what it took to make that $350. But, the insultingly low pay, that was really only half the story. The other half was just how brutal and backbreaking the work itself actually was. I mean, we are not talking about a desk job here, not even close. He was hauling concrete slabs that weighed between 800 and 900 pounds. Just think about that. Absolute gut-busting labor. And that combination, right? The extreme physical work for basically nothing in return, well, that was his breaking point. And so he walked. He was done. He decided his labor, his time, his body, it was all worth more than that. You see, this wasn't just about quitting a job. This was him drawing a line in the sand, just flat out refusing to be devalued like that anymore. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. He takes the pain from this one single experience and he blows it up. He expands it into a universal theory about, well, the nature of life itself. See, in his mind, this wasn't just about one bad job anymore. It became a fundamental truth of existence. He argues that the simple act of waking up, of taking a breath, that's basically an invitation for the world to try and take advantage of you. It's just a constant, relentless state of being. And to make the point that this isn't just his own private feeling, he actually connects it to something bigger, a cultural touchstone. He brings up a line from the George A. Romero movie, Land of the Dead. It kind of goes to show that this feeling, the sense of being a pawn in someone else's game, it's a shared, recognizable thing. So, after all this experience, after all this observation, Tomcat basically forms his core doctrine. It's the one big lesson he thinks everyone, and I mean everyone, needs to learn. And he boils it all down to a single, unforgettable rule. And he's almost 48 years old when he says this, and he mentions his age for a really good reason. This isn't just some angry outburst from a young guy. He's framing this as a piece of hard-won wisdom, something that took him nearly 5 decades to really get. And here it is, the rule, straight from him. The key thing to understand here isn't just that he's angry about being exploited. It's this deep frustration with being exploited by people who are incompetent. And I'm quoting, fuckers that don't know how to fuck. So it's this rage against not just malice, but also complete ineptitude. Okay, so after all of that pretty intense cynicism, where does he leave us? I mean, you'd probably expect more darkness, right? But instead, he pivots. He completely changes direction and offers a surprisingly constructive, totally actionable plan for how to navigate this world he just finished describing. Yeah, after all the rage and all the profanity, his core advice is really about being proactive and resilient. Come up with a plan, make it a damn good plan, have a backup. But then something really unexpected happens. He says, be kind, and I love you all. And that's the twist, right? There's this deep-seated humanism hiding just underneath that really hardened, cynical exterior. And he wraps it all up by repeating his central mantra one last time. It's the anchor of his entire worldview. The message is pretty simple when you break it down. Be prepared, be kind, but never, ever, ever let your guard down. And really, that leaves all of us with a pretty powerful question, doesn't it? Tomcat's journey from that awful job to this whole philosophy, it's all centered on planning ahead to protect yourself. So the big takeaway here, the thing to really ask yourself, is this. In a world that can be tough, that can be challenging, what's your plan?